David has a question here. What are the advantages and disadvantages of sowing seeds directly versus transplanting saplings? Are there times when one or the other method would be clearly the better way to go? Well, when you're planting pioneers, like these fast-growing legume trees here, they only grow for about 5 to 6 years. They're very quick. You can put these directly in the ground if you've cultivated the ground like a seed bed. So if you're in that situation, they'll work like that. Here's a fast-growing acacias. Now, these seeds have to be scarred or put through boiling water before they germinate. They grow very quickly and only live for about 7 or 8 years, but they're very, very rapid. You would have to plant these into a condition like a seed bed, like a rotary hoed ground. Now, there are also trees like silky oak here, Grevillea robusta, long-term timber tree, very high quality, quite fast, bit root band already, right? But definitely grows better as a sapling here, and it'll grow quite quickly. Here we have a nitrogen fixing and phosphate fixing casuarina. Now, these won't germinate out there in the field very easily at all. We know that from these type of trees, so we always grow them here, although they're fast. So it's a matter of knowing which trees grow where. Here's a Mexican tree fern. They have a seed that you have to actually clip the hard coat from to germinate, and then they're very, very fast. Now, they might grow out there in the field, but we know they grow as a sapling easily. So as we move around, here's a very fast rainforest timber. Right. This is blue quandong, but it needs to be germinated with a seed that's cracked in a vise. It won't germinate until you crack the hard coat of the seed. So it just depends what it is you're actually growing. So we've got fruit trees, we've got timber trees. Here's some black sapote. Here's some palms, and we're just waiting for different palms to germinate. I don't think they'd germinate out there in the field very easily. You'd have to create conditions that were specific to palm trees. But we let us sit in these trays until they germinate, and then we plant them out. As we go around, you'll only find certain trees that will germinate if we cultivate the ground, like papaya. That will, but you've got to actually have it like a garden bed. Now, here are some cuttings. Here's fig cuttings. Now, figs germinate if you have nice sandy soil or just sharp sand and you stick them in. So if you created a sharp sand bed, a lot of sandy, sharp sand in the mix, you could stick cuttings in. If you put an irrigator on, they'd probably work okay. And that is actually a fruit tree. So there's one or two like that. So you've got large timber trees here. This is black bean, which on our 60-meter high legume trees that are local. It's a huge bean seed. It will germinate if you just cultivate a bit of ground, a square meter of ground out there and push it in. A lot of them will actually germinate out there, but it'll also germinate like this. So it will just depend what it is you want to grow and where you want to grow it and what stage of your development. So here are more fig cuttings, and here they're literally just all poked in to a sharp sand, just sharp sand and nothing else, pot. As they germinate, and they start to, well, germinate, they start to grow roots, leaves. There's a leaf coming. You can see that green tip there, right? Once that starts to grow a few leaves, we'll transplant it from the sharp sand into compost. It'll have hair roots in, and then the hair roots will feed. Instead of having water roots that would rot in compost, they feed, go out looking for feed in the sharp sand. You put them in compost, give them a bit of feed, and bang, off they go. You don't want to grow water roots first on most of your hardwood cuttings. Here's lemongrass, just growing from a little rhizome division. They're all different ways that you need to know how to germinate. So there are, come outside, right, and we'll have a look at what's growing around us. So around the nursery, I have things like pigeon pea. Now this is pigeon pea, dal pea, Cajanus cajans. If you've cultivated the ground, right, and you've got it like a seed bed, you can plant this in like a bush bean and it will definitely germinate. So it's just knowing which seeds do what, where you are, and how they imitate the fast carbon pathways of weeds, but grow a convenient crop that is useful to your system's development. This is a fantastic one here, and you can cut cut it and it regrows, cut it and it regrows, cut it and it regrows. And it's also a green legume that can eat as a food and a forage for animals. So there's no quick answer to this, but it's just knowing which plants perform the way you want them to perform and germinate the way they can germinate when you've cultivated conditions for them to take off and start to grow. Sometimes it's easier to guarantee success in a nursery. If you have a lot of seeds, you can try some out and also edge your bets and get some going in the nursery. If the big numbers of seeds cultivate out there on the ground, well, you win. If they don't, you've still got some backup in the nursery. That's the way we usually do it.